Whoa, Nigeria has a way of sapping your energy when you genuinely care about the trajectory of your country. It's like a budding author selling out manuscript of his what he thought was masterpiece to all publishers, and one after the other, the slips are coming in rejection slip, rejection slip, rejection, rejection slip. It can kill your spirit, and you may never write again. Okay, now we're on talking points, and this is a different kind of talking point. We'll be talking about what is friendship to you. Who is a friend? Forget about good, genuine, or true. Who really is your friend? Let's hear from you. We'll be discussing this before you can join us in their conversation. The number to call is 0913 697 3485. 0913. I'm repeating the number 697 3485. We'd like to hear from you. Who is a friend? I will illustrate for the people in the studio wondering where it's going. Let me just give a dictionary definition. It says a friend is a person with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, typically one exclusive of sexual or family relations. He's a friend. Let me give you a story. I have a story. I wrote a book in 2021 called Fame, The Untold Stories of Its Rise and Fall. And in it was about 300 pages. It was on Amazon. It did well, quite well. Uh, and subsequent to its publication, Fame, three of us started it. By the grace of God, three of us are still alive in our old age, still doing well. And one of us has a reason to question some information in the story that I put out, and he made his write-up uh, lampooning the the part that he felt is wrong and all that. Now, where I'm going is he wrote a piece on Facebook, a short piece, I think about 4 pages, thereabout, a long piece for Facebook, especially for Gen Z people, and debunking certain areas and then certain misrepresentations and all that that I also have objection to. But where I'm going is my friends in the media didn't bother to ask me my reaction to his write up, and I just saw everywhere he's a liar. Fag is this, Fag is that, Fag lied, Fag is and that. And even friends that we grew up as reporters 30, 35 years ago, nobody asked me, why they say you are a liar, oh, what is your reaction? So that we can put it here. It wasn't writing a review, it was writing a reaction, a rebuttal to my write up. And he didn't read the book, he read excerpts. Three excerpts I published in my Facebook timeline. Only one chap, Simon Kolawole, is a young friend. I didn't even meet him. Uh, 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 I don't think I've met him, or not. I sent a reporter to ask me what's my reaction to this statement. That is only one. And I couldn't talk to her because I asked a simple question. The guy wrote this, and you want to find out my answer to this. If I say my answer now, have you read my book? He said no. So if I'm saying this, I will be quoting from my book that is at least 30,000 or 40,000 or 60,000 words. I can't remember now. How will that be? So go and read the book and come back to me. And of course, she never came back.
Wow.
And many of my friends published it. My close friends, publishers that we go up to reporters. So I begin to reflect. Are we friends or we're just colleagues? Are we
Wow.
friends or we're just professional acquaintances? I'm talking of people who you will if you put their name beside me, you say, oh, that's Fadi's friend. But they publish all these statements without asking question. And of course, we'll meet another day and we'll laugh. But are we friends? Right? And let me quote. I want to get your own definition or your own explanation and your own story of friendly relations, so to speak. That someone wrote, "What is friendship? It's a voluntary relationship between two or more people that is relatively long-lasting, and in which those involved tend to be concerned with meeting the other's needs and interests, as well as satisfying their own desires." Now, according to a researcher, they have research researcher
Wow,
for
we have a
friendship.
friendship researcher. Amazing.
According to friendship researcher, media 10 words, science has found three minimum factors for a quality. It has to have three, these minimum three things. It's a stable, long-standing bond. One. Two, it's positive and it is cooperative. It it's And lastly, it is helpful, reciprocal. I'm there for you, you are there for me. That is friendship. Now, my brothers or my friends, are we friends?
Wow.
Are we what are related to me? So, will I be wrong to call them my brothers or friends or my colleagues?
If I'm going to respond to all you've said, I can't ignore the aspect of the media because I've been in the media myself, spent almost 20 years there before I branched out. We have a trend developing in the media where people respond to stories without verifying the source or confirming the true nature of the issue. And I think it came from the social media. Uh, I'm afraid the damage that the social media has done to the practice of journalism, where you hear a story, you don't check your source. We were trained originally that before you put a story out, you check the source and you get two sides. Every story, we were told, has two sides. And if you publish one side without the other, then you haven't done justice to the story that you're publishing. So I feel ashamed to say that a lot of our colleagues are following this trend of the social media where you don't have true journalists. There's a trend where every Tom, Dick, and Sally who has a device and internet access tends to want to call himself a journalist. We have that sorry sight developing. And it's sad to say the traditional media is now following the trend of the social media. So issues of defamation and misrepresentation are being blown out, and we have a lot of activity going on in the courts. So I want to begin by looking at that area, which is very sad. Now, the next thing I would say is a friend is someone who should have your concern at heart. But you see, with the way society has developed now, you have different levels of friendship. You have casual friends who wave to you on the street, see you every morning. You have friends maybe at work who maybe you sit together, you chat, and you exchange views. Then you have friends who can be very close to you, who you can take into your bedroom. So you have categories of friends, right? Now, the friends we find in our jobs, at our occupational area, there's something they call a professional courtesy, which we should allow one another. If you find an issue that involves your friend in the media or an associate in the media, for heaven's sake, you need to check it. You don't just go to town and respond to something you heard, or go to town and publish a story that you haven't verified. Those people are not friends. And this bothers me a lot.
Yeah. Before I get the views of Tokes and Boston, let me add this anecdote because you mentioned different categories of friends. I have a friend who falls into that category. All the categories you mentioned. Yeah, but we met on the job long many years ago. We were so close. But he has traveled out of the country for so many years. But we kept on touching base with one another. So when this same issue cropped up, his friend to both of us, the two characters in my story, and having read the last second one, the rebooter from this chap, he said, Omo, did you see what so person? I said I saw it now. He said, the thing is it's very powerful, very interesting. I said, I said yes. I said, have you read my book? Yeah, I never, oh no, I haven't. So how do you know? How do you know what
That
is
is
referring?
very difficult.
Yeah, how do you know what you are going to? It's not even reporting. It's just personal interest. He said, because if what you wrote is true, you should go and apologize. I said, oh, but you didn't read what is reacting to. If I told you that half of what is reacting to is not in what is reacting to, how will you say? He said, because hey, I said, I said, is he my friend? Do you take what you have read as gospel without reading what I have written, which is in public domain? But he is also a very, very good friend. That was my definition, in quote, before then. But since 2021, I've been reviewing the list of my friends and what kind of friendship we have. Mr. T, Mr. T, over to you. How is your list of your friendship like?
Something. This topic, yeah, for a long time, I've been very emotional about it. When you hit me with a topic, suddenly I said, wherever I would be, I would be part of it. There's something about friendship. I tell people that the way you see yourself is definitely not the way other people see you. You cannot be the best of friends to anybody. And when I was growing up, I was told differently. You offend people, people who offend you. When they say they are friends, they're your friends. You have to be mindful of that kind of friendship. I grew up, I was quite sociable when I was growing up. So when you get to that point, you're a teenager into the breaking dawn, you just keep friends. They're just there. And I must confess, they have been helpful. They have days that are good, days that are funny. But every time I have a problem with a friend, I always look at myself and check myself. Self self appraisal matters to me a lot. Before I would come out and say this person has offended me, I would also have checked myself. Now, what the thing I do not like about it is just what happened to Faj. And I'll tell you a small story that happened to a friend of mine first and later happened to me. This friend of ours, years back, suddenly got locked up to himself. And I kept wondering what was wrong with him. And then I wanted to ask him at a point, he didn't come to work. So I left him alone. And we will continue that friendship. I did not know that one of us had gone behind him to say different things to different people about this same chap. And the chap suddenly felt everybody had heard about what this person had been saying about him and kept to himself. It affected him. He affected everything around him until one day he told me, he said, they even think when I walk past them, I don't greet them. Do you know my eyesights are bad? I didn't know. He says
Wow.
talking, but I just walk past people. It is when you talk, I will know that that's talking about talking. So I move towards you, and you didn't know. And I've been carrying this thing for almost 2, 3 years. I was shocked. I said, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yes. If I right now that I'm talking to you, this distance, I can't see your face properly. So I could have walked past you, but you called me. Now, now that touched me a great deal. And I said to myself, what are friends for? Now, always be mindful of something. If you think you are a friend to one person, you are a friend to 10 other people you do not even know. that are lining up behind this particular friend. Some people will say, oh, because he's my friend's friend, he's my friend, whereas you don't even know him. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that happens between you and the original friend, the one you have an acquaintance with, he gets to know and begins to talk about that thing behind you. You don't even know your assessment has gone 10 meters, 10 miles away from you. And you get into a
Mm-hmm.
very nice environment and nobody's greeting you and you're looking at yourself. That is why I keep saying that you only know yourself.
Mm.
If you can't do it, don't have friends at all, but you can't. So what
Yeah.
do we say to ourselves? If I offend you, forgive me. If you offend me, I will forgive you. But everything we say in this small room that concerns both of us, let it remain like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. I've had my brushes, and honestly, I can tell you straight away, it's not palatable. It's not palatable. It is not.
Mm-hmm.
People even won't help you because of what they heard happened between you and Mr. Who or Mrs. Who. They will not
Mm-hmm.
give you assistance. They will just walk past you. Somebody told me one day that he walked into a hospital and the person looked at him and said, are you the person? And he said, yes. Look surprised. Okay, I would attend to you. After attending to this person, he calls him back. Said, you have to be careful. I've met you for just 1 hour and I think you're a very good person. And I do not know why I'm telling you this, but be mindful of A, B, C, and D. And you can imagine far away, another state entirely from where this person is.
Mm.
Um, we've gotten this far. That song you played, I play it all the time because the lyrics are
Mm.
strong. And I always say
Yeah.
to myself, do you have a friend? You really don't have a friend. My friend can't call me and say I've offended you or you offended me and moves around to tell the other person that's what we did. I cannot tell you to your face. Ah,
Mm.
it's a bioduct that is rising high. Honestly, I get so emotional about it. I don't. I honestly,
I
just remain
understand.
where you
I
are
understand.
for me. Honestly, for me, yeah, that's just it.
I,
That's
I
just it.
understand.
And I tell my
But so
children too.
what's what's your experience like? Thank you, Mr. T.
So,
What's your
in
experience?
a very short, in, using few words, for me, friendship, what underscores friendship for me is protection of interest.
Mm.
Whatever thing we're doing, if you claim to be my friend, if I say I'm your friend, and I cannot protect your interest, there's no friendship.
Mm,
Let me go the route of everybody. I attend Ojuemade's church, and he said there was something happened. In one of his preachings, he told us in church that when he was in Unilag, there were these two guys who were bosom friends, everybody thought, and someday there was a fight, and one said something, a secret about the other one's family that he knew, and brought it to the home, and everybody laughed. And that guy looked at him, turned, and walked away. He didn't say anything, went back to his bunk. He said, when they left, the guy who spoke now ran to meet his friend and said, I'm sorry for what I said, and that I thought you would say what you knew about my own family too. That was like, what I know about your family is more damaging than what you have said. If I said it, these people will hear, they will go with that story, but our bond will never be the same again. That I needed to protect your
mm,
interest, even though you didn't protect mine. For me,
Mm.
that is what defines
Mm.
friendship.
mm,
Anything you
Mm.
do, sometimes, protecting your interest may even hurt you in the process. But if I look at the
Yeah.
overall assessment, I can see that, okay, fine, he hurt me here, he pushed me here, but he was trying to save me from a coming train, then I can sum it up and say, yes, you're protecting my interest, even though the immediate thing wasn't palatable. For me, what underscores friendship is protection of interest. Most times we look at we place friendship on gift. Somebody starts giving you one or two things, favor here and there. You just call him your friend. It's not about that. Take assessment and say, this thing. Some people can give you things and set you up for evil. So if everything overall is in your interest, is in protection of your interest, then that's who you can call your friend. If you put plus and minus, you can't get that answer. You don't have a friend there. You just have an acquaintance. So maybe work brought us together, social gathering or something, or street association brought us together, or profession, fine. But that's not a friend. Because a friend will you, a friend will take a bullet for you. That's my own. And the other person will do the same thing for you. That's what you could call a friend. So for me, that's basically what it is. Because even in marriages, there are couples that are not friends. You think people set up their husband and you wonder, what else? Like, if you are not safe here, where else are you safe? So friendship goes beyond, and it's not even a function of distance. Some people can be close to you and not be your person. Meanwhile, some people can be miles and thousands of miles away, and they will do everything to make sure that, yes, this is my person. So offenses will come, but how you also manage it is what will, how you can now say, okay, this is what. Because sometimes offenses is the test of friendship and how you handle it. So that's just my own position.
Yeah, thank you, Bossum. A take home from me is friendship will test you. It will make wife and husband may not be friends. Now you wonder how did they start? On what level did they start? But that is life. I like this quote. Let me read this quote for you about friendship. Friendship, the writer says, is a close association between two people marked by feelings of care, respect, admiration, concern, or even love. If you don't have it, you don't get it.
Concern. Yeah.
Category of people called frenemies. I don't know if you've heard that before.
Frenemies,
Frenemies.
yes.
Yeah, I've heard that friends and enemies or frenemies. Those are one of these modern coinages. But really, there are some that are profitable as frenemies. They keep you on your toes. They make you be serious. For instance, in life, as you grow older, you know that you can't. Yes, the Bible says some friends are like closer than brothers. Yes, there are some that will ask from the blues, "Where are you? What's happening to you? How can I be of help? Is there any way I can do this or that?" There are friends like that, and there are friends that won't talk for 1 year, and then when you start talking, it's as if you never left, and
It's off. Yeah.
it goes on like that. They connect with you spiritually and all that. And I have friends that looks like that you are enemies, you know. And the first thing you say when you meet each other is, uh, 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 "Madman, what are you doing here? Crazy guy, what?" So and they are also friends. And the zenith is the one at home that you go to sleep beside every night. You share the dinner table with.
Yeah.
Looks at you
True.
and says, "Okay, when I get you one day, when I get you one day." In a few minutes still before we go, we have a caller. I hope he stays to be. Good morning. Hello, hello. Hey, someone is trying to call. Please do try again so we can have you share your views about friendship. Who is a friend? We have few. Well, we have few more minutes. Let's try again. The call is persistent. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Who are we speaking to? Okay, Michael from Ikorodu. What's your view about friends or friendship?
You just have to let you know as a person. very sure, very, very sure that you don't have.
Oh, well, we have to go. If you can still get us, Mike from Ikorodu, it's pretty late in the day. My friend Alex, would you want to say your bye?
Lagos, it's been nice hanging out with you. I've had a good time. And like I always say, no matter what's happening around you, go out there and stay positive. Focus on where you're going.
Thank you, Alex. My friend Bosun, your bye.
it's, it's been a good morning, and I had an interesting time as well. Let's keep hope alive. Let's keep hope alive.
Thank you. And my big friend, Tokumbo Ojekunle, what's your last statement today?
Well, same time next week, we'll do this again, God willing. Have a best time. And remember, it's the December. Be happy.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. And you out there, I will always say, try as best as you can be nice, especially this December. Give something to someone, as however meager it is. If it's not physical, let it be spiritual. Give love, give peace, give nice things and nice thoughts. We'll see you next week when we start with what we call Wale Olomu Memorial Awards and Roundtable. It's going to be exciting 3 weeks discussing issues within the industry that is highlighted in current situations and honoring a young journalist who did exceptionally well for the business. We hope to see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend.